everyone. I welcome you all back to tonight's Biblical Talk Show. I'm your host, Val, and for tonight's show, we have a very special guest in the house. Please welcome Gideon.
Hi. Hello, Val. It's an honor and a privilege to meet you here at tonight's Biblical Show.
Likewise. All right, Gideon, let's begin. First question. Why did you trust God at first?
Well, to be completely honest, at first, I didn't believe the Lord. I was the youngest of a very poor family, and I wouldn't think that God would use me to save others. So at first, I tested him with a fleece, and at first, I didn't believe him. It was only until the second time where then I would proceed to believe him.
Interesting. All right, so why did you doubt God would help the people, Gideon?
I only saw the weakness in myself, and I made excuses to not save others. And also, let's not forget the fact I was the youngest of a poor family, and in my days, I used to hide in a wine press from others.
Really?
Yeah. I felt pathetic, and I did not feel that God would use me to save the Israelites. It's so crazy how such a small person like me could save such a huge group of people.
Was this overwhelming for you? Did you feel like you couldn't get the job done? Or how did you feel in this specific moment?
I felt unworthy of a job, and I felt very self-conscious of it. So,
About the job, right?
yeah.
Okay. So my next question for you is, why were you afraid of seeing an angel? Were you scared or nervous?
The Israelites believed that no one could see God. So I thought this also applied to angels. I also felt that God had punished us for worshiping idols.
Right. Next question, Gideon. Why were you afraid of the overwhelming odds of dying in God's plan? Did you think that he wouldn't save or protect you?
It was only after I tested him that I would believe that God was there for me and would protect me.
Interesting. All right. My last question for you from this section is, looking back at your whole life, what would you say is the one thing that you wish you could have done better at?
Tough question. But if I had to answer, I'd regret having a family with a concubine. Our kin was the reason why the nation fell into certain chaos and tore apart the family.
Great. All right, guys. Well, that's the first half of our show. Guys, please help me welcome back to our show a very special actress from our very famous show, Lady and the Tramp. Now let's go back to intermissions. Thank you, guys. Hello all, I welcome you back to our advertisement for tonight's show. For tonight's advertisement, I welcome you guys a very special treat. She's a woman from the Army who works very hard for her lives. Please, ma'am, tell us her name.
My name's Jepta.
Very nice to meet you, Jepta.
Nice to meet you too. Well, today I'm here tonight to talk about my army. And my army needs more people. The more the people, the more the people we can protect in our nation. And the war that's going on is so nefarious. We need more people to fight to win this war. The more this war goes on, the more the people will suffer in our nations. So if you want to, 18 and above, we need recruits.
I 100% agree. We need to protect and fight for our country, because that is what our country is all about. Thank you and good night. Welcome back, guys.
Cheers.
All right. We now come back with our new personality profile questions. More on our famous character, Gideon. All right, Gideon. In a very brief answer, can you please describe to us who were you back in the day?
I was Israel's 5th judge, a military strategist who was an expert at surprises. I also used to be a member of the Hall of Faith.
Very interesting. So, what made you the most vulnerable back in the day?
Well, I feared my own limitations would prevent God from working. I also failed to establish and maintain God's image to the people. But after I died,
So how are you here?
you guys brought me back from the dead.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't consent to that, but it's fine. When I died, the people of the nation who I guided to the Lord's salvation reverted back to their old ways of worshiping idols. So,
Well, great. Now let's discuss more on how you served to God's mission and how you contributed to it. So, Gideon, how did you defeat the Midianite army with no less than 300 soldiers?
well, I was sent a messenger from God who told me that I was going to be Israelites' champion. So, well, of course, I didn't believe him at first, so I tested him with the police. God was going to send me to fight the Midianites, regardless, to help his cause. So he reduced my men to 300. Can you believe that? With no odds of survival, by the way. And yeah.
Oh, wow. So, is it true that you helped the Lord at other points besides this?
Yeah, God once asked me to gather unleavened cakes and some meat, and after I did that, I set them all on a rock, and God consumed it with fire. I realized that God built an altar for himself through me.
Really quick side question, Gideon. When God asks you to do a specific task, or when he tests your faith, what is your response to that?
Well, I mean, if you would have asked my old pathetic self, I would have ignored it. But now I believe if God asks me to do something, I know very well he'll protect me.
That's very good to hear. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you for watching tonight, and I hope you all have a safe night. Thanks for being here, Gideon. You're a sight for sore eyes, and we are honored to have you here as our guest.
Well, thank you, and goodbye!